Finally, I had some time this weekend playing the new Alone in the Dark, with the same name as the original from 1992, which was done by Infogrames, which is now Atari. That old game taught me how 3 polygons scared the bejesus out of a 9-year-old. Well, good times. But this new game left me with mixed feelings. Why would it want me to press any key just for the menu? Well, the menu looks way better than the old one. Actually, one shouldn't make a review of a game when he hasn't even finished with the first chapter of a total of 8. But what the hell. But when I finally started it, everything looked very promising and the look was great, the atmosphere dense and the voice acting quite good.
Not too scary now, is he?
But the first odd thing was having a key to blink your digital eyes, which was necessary because your view kept blurring. And it happened, just as in real life, that when something interesting was about to happen, you were busy blinking your digital eyes, including half a second of refocusing again. It's tedious! At Amazon.com, the product features on Alone in the Dark read "Real world rules, upside down question mark. In-game movement has been designed to allow players to do almost anything that is physically possible in the real world." Well, a big lol here, because in the real world I don't have any troubles going through a door or facing into the right direction. So it's more like Half-Life 2 mated with fear and spawned this game with a spring solver for ropes and clothes. On the plus side, the game tries to teach you its interface while you play it, which I always like better than a never-ending table with keyboard commands or a useless tutorial. On the downside, the game doesn't discern between first-person and third-person view and prompting messages like "to spray button 0". I was using button 0, which turned out to be the left mouse button, over and over again, but Edward only kept attacking an invisible enemy with a fire extinguisher before stepping into the fire. Yes, Ed advances a step when he's swinging furniture, so better get used to falling off ledges when you carry something. Yeah, about that switch between first person and third person view. Well, I think it's an interesting idea. But in fact it acts only as a tool for showing you stuff to interact with by having a third-person camera looking down on Edward and his surroundings. The camera and the controls react oddly in third person, and it is nearly impossible to play it in first-person mode only, because the game switches back and forth, swivels the camera around until I feel really nauseous in front of my 24-inch HD screen. So, anytime you want to know what you are doing, you switch to first-person mode, only to get switched back to a very cinematic and very uncontrollable third-person camera. In one instance, you have to fight your first real zombie, which was so terrible that I quit the game angrily at that point at first. She attacks you while you walk around as if going for a walk, looking for something, anything to whack her. Until you finally pick up a chair and start to strike back. You're almost dead. But if you really succeed at punching the zombie to the ground, she'll get up again after a while. Like fucking Silent Hill 4. You know, punching the guy, stomping on it, and then he's alive again. I hate that. The only way to kill her for good, the game tells you, is to drag her numb corpse into some fire. But when you haven't played that scene over and over again, you don't know where there's fire. She comes at you again, and so on and so on. As one review on Amazon.com pointed out, this isn't a run and gun game, it's more like a walk, 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 and then search, in a panic, through your inventory while fire is all around you and monsters are coming game. Oh, and the inventory, or the way to treat wounds. Atari says it's an innovative new system. In practice, it's a bitch in the middle of a fight. Hitting I, selecting your item via mouse, and then closing the inventory by hitting, get a grip, circumflex I. So I guess I have to say thanks to my German keyboard layout. So the only way of producing a circumflex I is by hitting the circumflex first and then the letter I, in the middle of a fight. It's just as bad as letting go of a rope by hitting Alt-GR. That's the German right Alt key. And if you're wondering, yes, it means letting go of the mouse for a second. That's a sin in most modern games. And no, text adventures aren't modern games. But enough with the ranting, now for something really good. The graphics really are up to today's standards. And sometimes the game looks really good. And occasionally there's heavy clipping, collision misdetection and some other atmosphere killers going on. The in-game cinematics are executed very well, defocusing, different angles, nice cinematography. Just look at this sequence, isn't this great? But the characters seem sometimes so unnatural, despite all the efforts taken by the designers. They could at least have made their mouth cavities darker. And don't get me started on buggy clothes solvers and that kill atmosphere at an instant. Well, I haven't played far yet to tell about the quality of the story, but I can tell what I don't like about it so far. You know, all the time you keep meeting people and then they just die in various ways.
Those flames are spreading fast.
Hey you! Over here! Come give me a hand! We've gotta go back up!
Gotta go around the building!
Mister, you have to help us.
Hey! Are you okay?
And I killed only one of them, which was undead before. I would really love to love this game, but after all, Half-Life 2 still is God to me. Well, maybe a patch will save it all. Or maybe I'll become so brainwashed while trying to beat that sucker that I really enjoy it.